We now have a price tag for that tax plan, guys. $1.487 trillion over the next 10 years. That's according to the Joint Committee on Taxation. And it means that this bill does comply, if only barely, with those special reconciliation rules that Republicans want to use to fast track this legislation. Now, the single biggest line item in this bill is cutting the corporate tax rate to 20%. Now, originally, this was going to be temporary to save some money, but sources tell me that conservatives revolted when they found out. And House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Kevin Brady changed course overnight.
We work to make it permanent. We are convinced, both for our small businesses and our companies who have to compete around the world, here at home, that permanence really matters.
Now, that 20% rate is a red line for President Trump. He was also against any changes to 401ks, and Republicans dropped that from the bill. Now, Brady told me that he spoke with the president almost every day, sometimes multiple times a day, as the committee was writing this legislation.
President Trump's all in on this tax cut and jobs plan. He and his team have been very engaged in both the drafting and framework and where we want to go.
Now, these negotiations are not over. 5 Republicans from New York and New Jersey are signaling early opposition to this bill because it doesn't do enough to preserve the state and local tax deduction. Guys, Brady told me that he is staying at the table on this issue, and he hopes that they do too. Back over to you.
So, Ylan, this is going to be a dance because it's so close to that $1.5 trillion limit that they're allowed on this to still let it go through budget reconciliation. If anything changes, it's going to mean that there have to be several changes to somehow make up with the money that would be missing if they take anything off the table, right?
That's right. All these parts are interconnected. And when I asked Kevin Brady how much he expected this bill to change, he said that the only number that he wants to see in there remain the same as that 20%. He wanted to keep the broad goals of fostering growth and having a middle-class tax cut, but 20% corporate rate, that was the only number that he mentioned to me. And you're already hearing, again, some rumblings in the Senate over the cost of this bill. Senator Bob Corker is someone who is very worried about that. So we'll see as this continues to go to the sausage grinder of Washington.
Wait, you made it sound like everything's up for negotiation except for the 20% then?
Well, so when I asked him about that, what does he expect to stay the same in this bill? What are Kevin Brady's red lines? What he said was he wants to see growth being fostered, he wanted to see middle-class tax cuts, and he wanted to see a 20% corporate rate. So the only number that he pointed out was that 20% corporate rate. The rest of those dials, they can be turned.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.